Once upon a time, two boys grew up playing hockey in the village of Terrace, British Columbia. One of them went on to play in the National Hockey League. The other became a comedian. Now, one flies planes and coaches youth hockey. The other is still a comedian and owns news skates. This is their podcast, Enjoying Orange Slices with Jeff and Ian.
Well, hello, Jeff.
Oh, hey, in and out.
Look at you sitting in the
Look at
dark.
me. I'm back. I
Are you
was just
back?
watching.
That was awesome.
Yeah, we're with special effects. We haven't been around for a while. So how's that? Is that good?
There you go.
There we
Now
go.
you remember that we do this on video too.
No, well, I was
When we
we've been
do the
trying to
audio.
put this together we haven't done one in a while. So we've been trying hard to put it together, but we've been we're watching some Four Nations action, so it's been great. So
What do you think of today's games? Today's games were so exciting.
I think I mean most people probably got what they wanted, which was Canada and the US on Thursday, set up for Thursday. I like most of Canada's game today against Finland. They got
hmm
off to a great start, and it's the old story, right? You can't win it in the first period. You can definitely lose it, and Finland wasn't on their game, even though they came roaring back late.
They did come roaring
A little
back.
bit, not exactly a textbook way to finish it for Canada, but um, they got to where they needed to be. They just needed to get the regulation win to play the US, which everyone's looking forward to on Thursday night. I think Sweden is going to look at this event and say there's a lot more that we can give, um, because they've tied what did they lost an OT in one game,
hmm
lost an OT in the second game,
hmm
and they did a really nice job of limiting the U.S. tonight, even though U.S. was down. A, well, it ended up being a few players at the end.
Well, I didn't see what happened. What happened to who got what? Tell everybody what happened. I didn't see what happened. Who got hurt? Who did somebody get hurt?
Well, Matthew Kachuk never played because he got injured the other night against Canada,
Because
and
he
then
slipped on his mouth guard and hit his head.
he, he
The new style of wearing a mouth guard is
uh,
you protect the two back molars.
or the upper part of your left lip or right lip,
Yeah, yeah, it's very
right? Like it's
interesting.
just
Yeah,
crazy to me. I don't get it. But
you know who must laugh. You must laugh the most. The dentists that charge extra for the fitting. Just money. Oh my God.
yeah,
Love
the dentists they love it because they're not only getting to make some money off the mouth guard, they're going to make the money off the teeth that the mouth guard would protect. Um, so I think
He
and
had upper body,
Austin Matthews,
right? He had upper body, right? That was what he was
no,
resting.
Matthew I think was lower body. He didn't seem right. Obviously,
Didn't seem right. Just didn't seem right.
Matthews is out with something upper body, and so is Charlie McAvoy.
Oh, Charlie
And so,
McAvoy.
you know what I find interesting? You only have one extra forward and one extra D, and then you can
hmm
call someone in. There's a real chance that the U.S. could have to call someone in for the final game on Thursday night against Canada if Matthews can't go. If let's see who else. We got
You know,
Matthews and Kachuk. Oh, Brady Kachuk went down tonight too. He couldn't after the
oh my
first
gosh.
period. He didn't come back. So
So you know
they
what's
got
going on right now? You know what's going on right now? The Bahamas just got a phone call. How
yeah
quick can we get a plane there to get you off your vacation? Oh
yeah
my God.
yeah. I think it's I think it's going to be pretty interesting. Obviously, the Kachucks really added a lot of spice to this whole thing in Montreal when they played Team Canada, and of course, everyone was looking forward to seeing if they can play on Thursday night. Um, but it's great to see these nations get back together. I think out of the four nations, well, three of them are going to be
Uh,
disappointed, but
Out of the
I think
four
Finland.
nations, out of the four nations, four of them will be nations.
That's right. I wish they would have just gone with the world team too, and just call it the Five Nations. It just whatever, call it whatever you want, and get all the if you don't want to give Russia a team for whatever,
You don't need to
the
give Russia a
political
team. reasons,
just do a world team. Then you could get Kopitar and Draisaitl and Pasternak.
You
Get
don't
all
have to
those
give
guys.
you don't have to give Russia a team. You just need to give the world a team.
Yeah.
Bring everybody. Just say, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. Just do. What it was a couple of years ago when they did a North America second team. Yeah, they should have done that. Everybody should have been excited about everybody coming to the thing. But it is makes the rest of the sports look really bad for their All-Star game. Like
But
the
it's not an
flag.
all-star game.
It is though, Darren.
No,
It's the
it's not.
best, the
That's
best.
it's not an
Look, you
all-star
just
game.
you just can't just show up and tell me I'm wrong because
This idea that people are expecting an all-star game is ludicrous.
it's it,
Wow.
but
So angry
it's
when he just shows up late.
it's four nations of stars, Darren. It's four nations of all stars, all stars. There's not if you find me a scrub that's on that team. There we go. That's how I fought it back. It's all stars.
No, it's not an all-star game type.
Well, how come I'm not on one of the teams then? Then, like, we should have to take one guy that doesn't play much hockey on every team. And then it's not an all-star team.
Well, you would qualify then.
Yes, I would be. I'd just
I'm
be
kinda-
skating. I'd be skating down the other end by myself, getting myself ready.
But this was
I'm-
never intended to. It was replacing the all-star game, but it wasn't intended to be an exhibition. It was going to be a tournament.
Yeah, but we never got there. Well, Mallard,
You're right.
I'm losing.
You're right.
Did Lord Bagg say something? Because I had him tuned out most of the time. Did he say something that offended you there, or caught you? Because you come on, it's like he hit a nerve or something. So what did he
I've
say
heard
that
this
got you
narrative
fired
a
up?
few times of people saying, "Oh, it's going to be an all-star
I
game,
haven't.
and they're just
I
going
heard
to
him
be
talking about this.
having giggles and oh, look how intense it was. That wasn't an all-star game. It makes the Pro Bowl.
It was the
look
Canada
terrible."
Cup.
The Pro Bowl was already terrible.
The Pro Bowl is
This is an international tournament in the middle of the season.
Hey, can I ask you this then? Because I think
You never have to
mean-
ask. You can just.
no, I'm
go
gonna.
ahead.
I
You don't
was gonna
need
be
permission.
no.
Can I
because
ask
you-
a question? Can I ask a question? You already have.
I'm
You
gonna
come
use
in
that
off
next
the
time
top
somebody
rope.
says that.
It's Thursday. What is it? Monday Night SmackDown. Monday Night
That's
Raw.
Monday
That's how
Raw.
you came in. It was like Monday Night Raw. What?
Darren Millard off the top rope.
What do you think next year's the Olympics?
Yes.
Where do you go? Because I think
Wherever they're held.
Italy.
I know you go to Italy,
Milan
but where do
Cortina,
you go after that? Like as you look down the road as the NHL,
We're having a
be-
World Cup in 2028.
okay, but what do you do for 27? Because
do-
All-Star game. All-Star game.
Oh.
You can't have best on best every year. We don't want best on best every year. Every second year is perfect because it gives you just enough gap where it remains special.
okay, how about this?
Interesting.
What if you just say to everybody, because the All-Star game has really kind of lost its luster over time. Like you can still have your All-Stars named. Everyone gets 5 days off, no All-Star game. They just have a little
I think you just. I don't
Monday
think
to
you do.
Friday.
I don't think
You
you do a
need an
game. I
event.
think you do skills. You just do
No.
skills. No game.
You need an event because the All-Star weekend is very much for sponsors and fans as
Mhm.
much as the players. So the National Hockey League throws a big party for all of its high rollers.
Okay.
That's important for the league. Very, very beneficial from a profile standpoint. Whether you like the hockey or not, it's still really good as a add-on or a give back to sponsors. So you still need something there. Same way as sponsors are at the Canadian sponsors. We're all in Montreal. The American sponsors are all in Boston. They're getting their taste of it.
Fair
Back to
enough.
my point.
Okay,
The other sports don't. Here, well, I may have said the Pro Bowl.
Why are you so close to the camera?
Because I like to get near you and talk to you really close.
He's
Okay.
a close talker.
Close talker. I tell you, you know who COVID really affected me because I was a close talker and I couldn't get people.
You wore your
talking to them.
clothes while you were talking?
I was close. I was clothed talking. I was nude talk. Did I ever tell you about when during COVID I was doing an outdoor show and some guy was heckling me and he had a lisp and there was just spit flying off his mouth. And I was like, if there's ever been a time for you not to talk, sir, it's during this event.
Did you really give it to him like that?
I gave it to him. I let him know.
How did you tell that he was spinning? That he was that
Because
close?
you could see it. I was like, you
Oh.
super spreader. Anyways, what I meant was, and I said Pro Bowl, but there's no other sport that has like other than the Olympics. Like football needs something. They can't do anything. Football can't do anything because everybody that plays football is American, except for like a weird Australian kicker and then some autistic German kid that is able to catch the ball while running just on the sideline, and people are like, that guy's fantastic, right? There's no other
Outside of North
countries
America, because
involved.
there are
Yeah.
Canadians that play.
Right. But that's the 51st state, apparently. So,
Please,
as I said,
please
just
don't say
America.
that.
Oh, it's a fantastic. Oh my God. I'm just like, I'm like, come on. I spent a lot of money on my green card. It is not happening for free. That's what.
That goes down to economics, like
Yes.
self-economics,
Well,
individual economics.
that's how everything
but you
comes,
but you
what it all
can't.
comes down to.
Hockey's the only sport that you can show off like this. Like you can't do the other ones. You just can't show it off like this. And I know basketball does have a lot of Europeans in it, but I don't think they could do.
Basketball has the Olympics and a World Championship,
But it just doesn't show off like this. It
but
just
they're part of the Summer Olympics, and it's the dream team. Like it's huge. I think
Yeah.
you're doing a little disservice to
I just don't
the
I don't think
exposure
so.
of basketball.
Ah,
Wow, second time he's taking you
I know.
down.
I can't
Love
believe
it.
it. Why do I even talk to you anymore? Like I talk to you for you to agree with me, not disagree with me.
Yeah,
Oh, I hate
that's
it.
good stuff.
This podcast is going to be called Disappointing Talks.
This podcast is going to be called "Darren's no longer getting the Zoom invite."
Yep.
We sent it to you.
We sent it to you. Come on in, and then you're going to end up on a different podcast.
It already is in a different one.
It's like, well, I know nothing about fishing.
What about baseball?
What about
It's got the World Cup. That's not quite
Cuba and America?
Japan.
Japan does, but Cuba sends kids that are 14 that are actually 18.
That's the
It's
Little
pretty
League World
fantastic.
Series.
It's the best. That is the
And
best sport.
Danny Almonte at the Little League World
Okay,
Series.
so the question is, though, going back to the original question is, what do you do? How do you keep the fires burning? And I know
It's
you're
fine
not.
every 2 years, is it not?
No, but
What was
I'm
Canada
just
Cup?
saying, I'm just saying, hang on. I'm just saying, what do you do when you're in your off season? So how do you dress up your all-star game, or you get the pizzazz? Because I sent you two guys this the other night. I'm on ESPN.com the other day, Sportsnet, TSN. I go all over NHL.com, and it's all about the NBA All-Star game. Nothing about the hockey. As soon as they drop the puck between Canada and the US, 9 seconds later, the whole front page of ESPN.com is about Canada, US. And so I'm just asking, you're not going to bottle this, but how do you find your way to fight your way back into the conversation when, there's other sports out there that are obviously a little bigger than you are, but you were able to wrestle away the front page of the sports from them?
Jeff, we went 10 years without best on best. It's not going to happen overnight. This was a huge, and will be with Thursday's championship final, a huge step in the right direction. Then you've got the Olympics and next year's Olympic Winter Games in Italy. NBC's coverage will all center around, and wait for it. When we get to next January and the promos start running, it'll all focus on Canada, the United States in hockey, women's and men's. And so this has lit the fuse, and it's going to burn brightly for a year. And then you've got every second year. It'll be great.
It's you see what you've been missing, right? Because
It's fun.
It's been so great. And as disappointed as I am not to see some of the other superstars in the league, be involved in this, because this is an NHL event. This isn't an international event. I'm happy to see, what it's done for the North American market and hopefully for the European, Swedish and Finland. And the Swedes took down the US tonight, right? I mean, a bounce here or there, and they're playing Thursday night. So look out for them in the Olympics.
Didn't lose in regulation. They got a point. They're the only team that got a point in every game. Couple of
Very good.
extra time losses. So
And
the
I call
Canada Cup,
tonight's
Canada
JT
Cup,
Miller versus Pedersen.
yeah, nothing really happened there, right? I was
I know,
No,
disappointed.
nothing.
I really wanted him to
Yeah.
hold him down and just put his
Canada
arm in
Cup
his
was
face.
76, 81, 84, 87, 91. So you had the closest routine was every 3 years from 81, 84, 87. And then you went 91. And then the World Cup was just here and there. It was 04, 10. No, not 10. 14 and then 16.
The nice
was,
thing
last
about
World
this
Cup.
is I think we're going to get some stick-to-itiveness now
Yeah.
with this from here on out.
Oh yeah, now there's
Yeah.
a schedule.
We're good to go.
This was
Yeah.
a bonus, you guys. This was just thrown in there because after COVID, and they're trying to find a place for it, and they see the Olympics here, and let's do a trial run, and then hopefully get the World Cup in 28. Well, this has been a smashing success. They'll enlarge the field in 28, and we'll have a good.
Do they do it at a
legitimate
different time of
best.
year? I got two questions on this. Do they do it at two different time of year? And do they do it when they did it for this time of year, this year, was four teams perfect for the amount of time they had? Like if you had more teams, does it affect the amount of time they have?
I think you could squeeze it a little bit. There's no back-to-back games, so there's an avenue that you could add in a little bit more. There's a couple of days now between when the United States and Canada will play to finish the round robin and then the championship game. Also depends on, do you want a best of in the final, or do you want a single winner take all type format?
Well,
But
you stretch it.
I think the Olympics will be stretched out. It'll be a longer break. You'll probably have to do a similar type of break for a World Cup.
Don't you think you could stretch one more? You could stretch it a day, add one more team because we have 2 days now. We're doing this on a Monday night after Sweden, after the games today. Sweden just defeated the US. So you don't play
Live
till
update.
Thursday. What's that?
Yeah, live update.
So, yeah.
Live update. Live update tomorrow.
Your
Yeah,
out-of-town
we're
scoreboard.
updating you all. We're updating you. But I think, you could have had one more team and then you could have finished, everyone plays everyone, top two teams, play Friday night. Right?
The challenge is,
I don't know.
it's an NHL event. They only want NHL play in the World Cup and in the Four Nations.
Right.
Do you have enough players from a specific country to field a team? Not just field a team, but if there's injuries there. Now, Finland, there's 11 Finnish defensemen in the National Hockey League. They went so deep because of injuries that 10 of them were involved. So you're right on the cusp of not being able to, or putting forward into the blue line, or going with 5D, something like that. So how many teams can you have in a World Cup, if that's your question?
Well, I understand where you're going, but we're in an NHL event. So my only thing was we've got room for one more team, which would get you Ovi, it would get you Draisaitl, Pasternak, Kucherov, would get you Yossi.
You got to call them the others or something like that. Right?
No, Russia gets its own team. If Russia's allowed back, they get their own team.
Well, I mean, Russia can totally make their own team, but for this
Czechia gets their own team
scenario, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess if you weren't going to do Russia, you weren't going to do a world team, but I just thought there was an opportunity to get some more people that move the needle for your league involved and get some other countries excited about their players playing best.
Team Europe went to the final in 16.
Mm-hmm.
That they kind of stole some of the thunder. You also did a Young Guns, the under 23 team there. So I think you can fit Russia, Czechia, Slovenia is close. I'm not sure you can go there, but then maybe you
I
do
think
a rest of the world.
I think you need to do a young guns team though, too. Or not young guns, the leftovers, something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Like you got to do it. You got to do it. Like
I don't mind that.
Leftovers.
the
I
leftovers.
I totally
Just
don't
call them
mind
that.
that.
Yeah.
Those guys would just be the most motivated team in the tournament. But that's what I'm getting at this
Team
year.
Europe was.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at this year, though. I'm getting and the under 23s is, you know what? There's enough out there. We saw how hard these guys were going at it. Another team of it full of NHL guys would have just added fuel to the fire. And you're trying to sell your product, right? That's what the NHL is trying to do.
So
Anyways,
you wish
it's
they
been a
would have
great
had a
event.
larger field this year?
I would have liked to have seen the world team or whatever you want to call them, the young guns, the guys, yeah, the
Leftovers.
leftovers
And I
with
got I got their
Obi.
jersey. Their jersey's just a doggy bag.
Yeah. This was for lack of a better term, a test.
It was a good test.
By the National Hockey League.
It was a really
from
good test.
A logistics standpoint, and a great test for the four nations that participate to see what they've got going into the Olympics and the return of the National Hockey League next year. They're really fortunate.
I agree 100%. Yeah, so
I don't think you needed
it's a
to
win.
get greedy about like making sure everybody was represented this year. They just wanted to see if it worked, and from logistically, it does, and from a fan interest and player participation, it was knocked out of the park.
I mean, you offer someone a chance to, and there's
How
where
can you
you
not?
kind of get the rub on the world team because but you give someone an opportunity to wear the jersey of their country. I mean, what an honor. And all these guys, you know, have lived up to it. Finland was decimated by injury. But you know, they still got their points.
All
Yeah.
three countries, or sorry, three of the four had injury issues during this tournament.
What do you see out of this? What's your biggest takeaway? Um, like, what's the biggest thing that surprised you guys that you've seen in these games?
The
How
fact that
bad ESPN's coverage is.
I'm blown
Like,
away
what?
by the fact that this tournament doesn't mean anything. Zero as far as prestige beyond pride. It's a made up tournament.
Right.
And we have witnessed unbelievable passion. Now, a lot of it focused Canada, US, but I did like the Finland Sweden game, and I like that Sweden battled their tails off to get a win in the end and not leave without anything through 3 games. I don't know another sport where you get professional athletes spilling blood and doing anything they can to play when it's just for pride.
You know, if it was pool play, Sweden would be in a really good spot right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? If they do this next year in the Olympics, they're going to be in a really good spot. But I think my takeaway, there's two. One of them is the pace has been just absolutely. Of course, you've got the best players, the fast, you know, a lot of the fastest skaters, but
the players talking about how fast it is.
it's crazy, right? And both teams that are on the ice are able to really get it done. And then the physicality. You've seen a lot of guys finish checks that you don't necessarily see finish checks through an 82 game season. Brady Tkachuk's been a one-man wrecking ball, but we're used to seeing Brady run guys through the wall in an 82 game schedule. Jack Eichel's finished some pretty heavy hits on some guys. Reinhardt laid out Rantanen earlier today. So you're seeing some guys that you're maybe not as used to seeing be physical over the course of an NHL season. And I think some people are a little bit surprised by it, but I'm like, when you put that jersey on for your country, I think it's just a whole nother kettle of fish, right? I mean, and I think you're seeing it. I mean, there's no guarantees, right? What's that?
You know what it is?
Okay.
I just watched the movie Semi Pro the other day. And it's, you know, how they used to when it was made up. Oh my God, it's hockey's mega bowl. That's why Jackie Moon comes up with that idea. That's basically what they've done. Oh, fourth place, Mega Bowl. But I got a question. Do they get paid? Do the players get paid for this?
Yes.
They do.
But I think they're
They
donating whatever they get paid. I believe it. I might be wrong on this, but or that might be the Ryder Cup. But I thought I heard that it's the NHL's obviously paying them, so maybe they're
Yes.
not. They're
the,
maybe
the players, the participants are receiving. It's not an honorarium, but it's
Do you make
compensation for taking part in this.
because it's made a lot of money, right?
Yeah, but it costs a lot of money. Families come in. Uh, the
The Mega Bowl doesn't put on for free.
No, to put on, well, one, you're shutting down, so that's costing you money for 2 weeks. Now you're not canceling games, but you are shutting down. But there's a cost to it. They've the broadcast, they were doing a world feed for everybody, trying to make it as easy as possible. But you have to, from equipment staff to coaches to arena people to NHL events running it. Like there's a cost to it and players, but I think be interested to see how much money it does make. I think the exposure is your real cash cow here.
well,
Yes.
if you're ESPN or TNT, you have to be thrilled because you had 5 million people watching your games. Canada, US was over 5 million on Saturday night, and I think Sweden and Finland were like 3.5 on Saturday. So that's a pretty nice shot in the arm. So
And it might put some butts in the seats for the rest of the season for the regular games
And
too.
people in front of the TV, they're plugging the return to play on Saturday and the schedule. That's
Mhm.
great advertising right in front of your hardcore audience and the people that are tuning in to see what's all this going on. Now, do you guys, from your heart of heart, don't think like a fan. Try to put yourself in the shoes of the executives of the National Hockey League, Gary Bettman, Bill Daly. Were they smiling on Saturday night with the fights and the fact that everybody's talking about the 3 scraps right off the face-off and how intense that game was? Or are they
Yes.
secretly going, we just took a step back?
no, I think they won't say it publicly. The people that are holding their breath are the general managers, right? Because we're getting injuries. But the league, and I don't know, maybe Lord Bagg chirped me on this, but or it was you or someone, but I always
I
said,
don't chirp you.
I know you don't. You've been
I
very
give you
kind.
hugs.
He never gives his opinion.
There's no such thing as bad press. And then I think when you guys took me down when I said it one time, if you believe in that
Wasn't me.
mantra, then I think um, there's no question. They flipped the script. They were all over every news feed, sports feed, with what happened on Saturday night. Um,
Hockey's
And
never been
because it
on
was
hockey's never
yeah,
been on social media more.
and
yeah,
because it was
People are
passionate,
retweeting. Yeah.
and it was unscripted, and it wasn't dirty or a stick across the head. I think it was an easy one to pivot off of. But
And
I was
no, and
trying to
also
imagine at the time what Gary was thinking.
nobody got dropped.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If somebody had gotten just cranked, that's a different look. But
yeah.
you've seen guys fight and go to the penalty box. And you know what I mean?
Well,
I think it
and
was
I
brothers.
And then it started again.
and the Kachuk
And
brothers
then it
are
started
doing a
again.
great job, right? They're whether you love them, hate them,
They sell the game.
they sell the game. And you know what? If you're in USA Hockey or a USA Hockey fan or an American, or you pull for you love the fact that these two guys are going to be on your Olympic team next year. Now, different rules, but you love the fact that they're out there going, we're here to win. And what I really like on the flip side for Canada is that they have an opportunity to reset the direction, in my opinion, of which way Hockey Canada is going. And everything else, they have a chance to reset it because nobody has more pressure on them than the young Canadian World Junior players. They're not going to reset it. The women's team battles with the United States. They win a lot, but Hockey Canada's in disarray. This team is the team that I think can reset it.
What did they
for
reset it?
Canada? I just think resetting, like getting everything going again, getting the buzz back. And I know there's buzz in hockey in Canada, but it means a lot. And it hurt a lot of people the other night. As much as the American team loved it that they won, it hurt a lot of people in Canada. So the fact that they were able to get back into the game on Thursday night in the finals is huge, I think, for hockey in Canada. So the perception that your best players, McDavid, McKinnon, Crosby, are back playing together. I think that's a really big shot in the arm for Canada, and people are really excited about it, just like they are down here. So that's good for the game.
I thought Canada was the better team on Saturday night. They had better chances. Their defensive game was stifling. If they can raise it 5%, 7%, I think they win. They win that game, or they win on Thursday.
Well, and all of a sudden, after the first period tonight, everything after the first 35 seconds, and the U.S. had hit 5 posts against Sweden, but after the first 35 seconds where they went up 1-0, things started to kind of, I don't want to say unravel because the game was real close and they could have got a bounce, but Tkachuk goes.
They were also 3 lines.
Yeah, Tkachuk goes down. Both Tkachuks are out. Matthews is out. McAvoy's out. But here's the thing: it's not like the 3 lines aren't the best players in some of them in the league, right? So
it's like, you know what I mean? Rule. Like it's not about who shows up in men's league; it's who doesn't show up in men's league. If you have the right people not show up, you're a much better team.
Yeah,
you actually hope for 4 guys only.
Yeah, yes. Now, without Matthews and Tkachuk, that's a different story. But it is.
But when you're rolling 4 lines, it's got to be a lot of stress on those coaches. And I know I look tonight and Sweden. You look at their D, like if they roll out that same defense next year in the Olympics, they're going to be. You saw how tough they were. Sweden, Sweden. Brodin, and Canada's and you're starting to see, like with Makar, what a difference he makes. I think Theodore, the way he's playing would have made a difference for Canada probably Saturday night. But you've got, look at Sweden. I mean, you look at some of these guys that they're.
I have a question.
Yeah,
I have a question.
Someone just texted us in the middle of the podcast. So
I did.
I know you did. So I lost my train of thought. I'm like, Millard, what are you texting me for?
I do have a question. How does this make Sidney Crosby feel after this? Does he want to go someplace and play even higher? Like, do you think he wants to get out of Pittsburgh after this?
He's playing in this. That's great. He's going to play in the Olympic Winter Games next year.
Still not Stanley Cup.
And you know what? They're still right there. Pittsburgh was pretty good just before the break. And
okay, it's just a question. Everybody calm down.
I'm yelling at you.
No, I just was answering.
I'm just asking a question. I'm playing the devil's
like
advocate.
Stop yelling. I'm not yelling.
I am your youngest.
Close.
I know. I'm a child. I'm a child.
Well, you guys are twins, so
we are.
That means Sharples also.
Take out the papers and the trash. Yakety yak. Don't talk back. You don't remember that from the movie Twins, do you? When he's on the plane, coming over to meet Danny DeVito, he's got the earplugs in and he's yelling it on the plane, and people are terrified to tell him to shut up.
Was that the one where the kid was kicking his seat and he turned around, or was that another one where he's going to snap the pencil? Yeah. So
no, I never saw that movie.
Oh, that explains a lot.
Yeah.
That explains a lot. I keep giving that to you, and you're like, I don't know that song, and I'm like, yes, you do.
Well, hopefully we have the same ability to, have a career longevity like they do, because Danny DeVito's doing Jersey Mike sub commercials. So maybe they're
probably making more money than he ever has. Probably off those sub commercials too, just like the most money ever. Oh my God. I love it.
What's your guys' call for now we're on to Thursday night. The NHL got what it wanted. They did. They wanted Canada US. Right? they wanted it because it's going to be a frenzy in Boston for this game.
Mhm.
What do you think? And you kind of already gave us your preview, Millard, but what's going to happen on Thursday?
I don't think he scored a couple of goals, a couple of great plays, but we haven't had one of those virtuoso Connor McDavid games
Yeah.
yet.
He hasn't had a full game of unbelievableness, right?
So that's out there. They haven't had nobody's. Connor Hellebuck on Saturday would be the closest. Nobody's had a great standout goaltending performance in the tournament. That's there for Jordan Binnington. So I think that there's a couple of real positives for Canada, that there's still meat on the bone uh, with this group of players.
I think it puts a lot of pressure on the goalies, and I guess I'm in your camp here. Flats would be very proud right now, but when the breakdowns happen, they're absolutely magnificent breakdowns. Like when Granlund got was it the third goal? Like the whole Canadian team was kind of in the corner except Cirelli in front of the net at the end of the game. You wouldn't normally get that, and I think that's what's causing some of the chances against are because of breakdowns that aren't always happening during the
But
course
shot
of
volume is very low,
it is, but
extremely
the
low. And John Cooper said it's because the best players are all buying in for a short period of time. In the regular season, you got guys, and he said guys will take shortcuts. Guys will not necessarily lay it all on the line in game 43 of 82. Here they're doing it all. And so shot volume is very low, but when there are pucks in the net, it seems to be pretty good chances. And I just Bennington, he could do a lot for himself. He's played all 3 games. I just think that there's another level there, and same with McDavid. I like the line tweaks that we saw. I will say that for all the talk about Nate and McCarr, I said this in 100% hockey, and Connor McDavid in this tournament, that next wave, Sid's done his job and been the best player in the tournament. Like
Absolutely.
it's been so cool to watch a guy in the back half of his 30s just be the man. And Scotty Bowman compared him to uh,
after that shameless plug.
No. Who did he compare him to?
I thought we
Just
froze.
slipped off the top of my head. Jean Beliveau. Compared him to Jean Beliveau.
We'll
And I'd
edit
never
that
heard
part there. We'll edit
comparison.
that one piece. We'll edit that one piece
Yeah,
from there to
that's
there.
okay. You can keep it in. I couldn't. It slipped my mind of all the
Yeah.
Montreal greats. It's such a gentleman
No,
and high
Beliveau.
level of play, and I'd never heard that before, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, you've got a lot of things out of this for your two more North American teams that you have a lot to build on. Um,
It is
but
about building the game, and you build
yeah,
you
but
build if you
you all,
haven't, there's no way you haven't built the game even more after this tournament.
No, it's been great.
well,
Yeah.
you look at these teams that are in it, and of course, not all the like we've talked about, not all the stars are there, but Sweden's going to be a load to handle. Finland, once they get healthy, and some of their guys are back, maybe not as dynamic as the others. But you look at Jack Eichel, the U.S. team, the Kachucks. Who's really impressed me, and people don't get to see a whole bunch, is Rurensky.
Mm-hmm.
And you just think you add Quinn Hughes to that team, and Sanderson, whether he gets the next step next year and is able to make that team, you're going to absolutely have race horses, thoroughbreds back there for your team. But you're right, Sidney Crosby this has kind of been his tournament.
It
When
was supposed to be a
Canada's
passing of the torch in a way, and he's held the torch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he doesn't look like he's really interested in giving
he's
it up. And I like Lord Bagg's question. I thought about it earlier. Is like this year is but Sid in Pittsburgh, they go hand in hand, and they're to move him out unless they're way out of the mix. I don't know how that works. And he might have some interest in going playing somewhere else, but I don't. I mean, you know him a little bit. He doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that's thinking about anything but Thursday night and then what he needs to do for the Pittsburgh Penguins come Saturday when they play again.
I think he should be able to do whatever he wants. You should be happy for him whichever way it goes. Like as a fan, I don't care. Like he's not like he's not letting Pittsburgh down if he leaves.
I
Come on.
don't. I agree, but you were so close to the camera to start, and now you're way back. Mallard has had an effect on you tonight. I'll tell you. You just get close, and then you're way far away.
I like to see the podcast, and then I like to listen to the podcast. Anyways,
It's
what
like
I was
you're
trying
moving
to say,
17 feet.
it's fantastic. My legs are so long. How was your bike ride today?
It was good.
Hey, I was going to ask you.
What gears did you use?
First, remember the old 10 speeds when you'd
Yeah.
have to flip them up and you have to get it just right, or else you get a little.
Do you ever remember the first time you had brakes on the front tire and you almost spun yourself over the front tire trying to
Yeah.
grab them when you were going a little too fast?
Pretty sure I've done that.
Hey, you're an old goalie warhorse. You're talking about your hips. How's your hips feel? Is that why you ride the bike so much? Because it's easy on your hips?
Because I can't run. I can't do anything else because I have arthritis in my hip.
I've seen you run, and I would agree with that. Yep, you
He
cannot run.
runs like his mom. Like my hips hurt. Just
Yeah.
arms fly out.
Yeah, your arms are nowhere near your hips.
I am a terrible runner.
So is that what they recommend if you got a bad hip? Is
Bad hip.
that's
Well,
why
it's-
you
well,
that's
it's
why you
just-
got into
It's
biking
a
so
low
much?
pool.
impact.
The
There's no
pool is what
impact. It just you don't have to. There's no jarring on the joint.
I'm gonna say you're wrong. You've been hit by a car twice. There's a lot of impact.
That's true. That is very true. I was
Yeah.
thinking about wearing one of those big orange vests.
Something.
You
And a
know
guy-
where
a-
like
A person passed me going up the Red Rock Loop today, like I was standing still, like I was
Like on another bike?
yeah. He's just obviously far more powerful than me, but that's
And-
disappointing.
did
he have
you
one-
notice it?
Did he have one ball and a needle hanging out of his ass?
No, but I did say, keep it going, buddy. And I don't even think he even answered me.
This is what he heard. Yeah.
I was listening to Bon Jovi's greatest hits, so I was
Hey.
in my zone.
Oh man.
Mallard, let me ask you this, and we've
You're letting
talked
him know
about this
it's
before.
slippery when wet up there.
Yeah, watch out. Do you wear your earplugs in both ears, or do you have one ear so you can actually hear the traffic and other stuff around you?
When I wear earbuds, I wear one, but now I wear these bone condensing earphones that go over the ear, but they don't go in the ear,
Interesting.
so you can hear stuff in and around.
Good.
Yeah,
Jeff would
I'm with you.
snap if he said like, yeah.
No, I
Yes.
just I see people. We talk about it all the time. It's
Yeah.
the public service announcement. I always, put your music in, but have like one ear
Have
so you
one
can
out,
hear
yeah.
what's going on, because people are not paying attention. And
This is
You-
what he yells at. This is what he yells at people with their headphones on. You're gonna get kidnapped.
Can you?
do you have an electric bike? Oh, you do, but no,
I don't have electric bike.
We just got two.
Did
Just
you?
got two. We're making video. We're making some.
Are
some.
you serious?
Yeah, we're
You got
making
an
some
e-bike?
content. Yeah, we're making content for them. We're making some
Oh.
content.
Oh, so
So-
you have an agreement with them?
Yeah, they gave
Oh,
us
that's
two.
good. I
Yeah,
like
they gave
that.
us two bikes.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like we went out and bought them, but it should be fun.
That's what I was. Well, I thought maybe you were
We're-
trying to convince me that you were getting active.
No, I do like when I see people pedaling on electric bikes. I'm like, you fucking liar.
When they passed me doing the Red Rock Loop,
That's so
you know,
funny.
I might slip the finger to them.
That's funny.
really.
And they give you the horn, their electric horn. Beep beep.
Well, it bugs me. They're all like happy. And I'm like, get out of here.
You should try this. It's way more calm.
Hey, how long does how long does that charge or that motor on that electric bike go for? Like, If you're pedaling, does it
Just
kind of
got
help?
them. Just got them on Friday. They showed up on
So
Friday.
when you pedal, are you recharging the battery?
Yeah. Is
No
it
idea. These can all be questions I'll answer in the video.
Is it a
Have to make
9-volt
room.
battery? And do you
Yeah, yeah. Like this is how you get going faster.
kids don't know how to do that now. I
Oh
asked
my
my kid,
God.
I had one, the smoke detector. I'm like, can you touch your tongue to that so I can see if the battery still works? I'm like, no, why would I do that? I'm like, to see if there's still juice in the battery.
They didn't fall for it
No.
at all?
No, they just refused. They thought they didn't think.
Playing out refused. Playing
Yeah.
out refused.
But I've been
Yeah.
playing electronic quarterback and stuff. I'm like, I wonder if this battery works. And yeah, we all did it.
Yeah. Most of us fell to the ground. It's really got a lot of power in it.
Did you not do that, Sharples?
Look at him.
absolutely? But I got
Oh.
thinking
He had,
about Lord
an older
Bagg.
brother.
If Peaches had a battery,
Yes, that is.
I just was thinking about Lord Bagg. Yeah.
My
So-
wife sent me a note because she went and picked up our youngest here. She also said that showroom floor is looking good. So I'm not going to say the rest of the joke, but yeah, she all the way home the other night from your show in Vegas kept talking about that.
It was fun having you guys out.
You were awesome.
My wife was laughing. My wife was laughing. Oh, that's a nice way to meet Darren.
I can't believe your wife actually exists. It was good. And then I walk into the green room and there's beer exploding everywhere.
She's shooting a beer
What the hell is going on here?
like it's champagne. And
Yeah.
Darren's like, "Are you really do exist?" And she's all like, she all gives him a high five. That's right, motherfucker.
Like
The best part is that she'd had enough, and it disappeared. Went in there and she was watching Dateline.
Really?
You're
Yeah.
not that funny. She, can't keep. Yep. She went in and watched Dateline.
You're
Second show.
no Dateline. That's what she
Yep.
said.
You're no Dateline.
You know what? That'd be
You're no
hard
Keith Morrison.
for a spouse.
Yeah. So the fact that she watches any of my show
Yeah.
is almost she comes out to check out the new things. Like she hadn't heard the story about her the story about us going to the Christmas party. She hadn't heard that yet. So
Oh, that was good.
very true. Most of it's true.
My wife watches our games when I'm on just to know when the game's going to be over, so she can send the boyfriend home.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That
It's
is
more
true.
about the lover than the love.
Yeah.
So
And it's a good strategy. If I'm still
very
doing
good
the
strategy.
post game show, they're good.
what
Yeah,
about you being the big color commentator last night
Another round.
with BMAC for the Silver Knights game?
I like being the analyst. I like doing that. It takes
I
me
had
back
to
to my
laugh.
roots doing the Wheat King games with Drager.
Did you do the Wheat King games with Darren Drager?
Yeah,
You
we
and
were
him?
the play-by-play team.
No
Who
way.
called the play-by-play? You or him?
Gus, yeah, he did.
He did, and you were the.
I was the analyst and the host.
Wow. Hey, humble beginnings.
Yeah. With Kelly.
What made you decide to do that this weekend?
Oh, I
the-
get assigned every now and then.
Or they just say, "Can you
Yeah.
go do this?" It's not like you.
Yeah.
Can I do this? Oh, that's interesting.
But I like it. Like I enjoy it. I don't. For those games, I don't want to host. I don't want to do my job. I want to do something different and stretch the boundaries a little bit and try to see if I can keep up with what's going on, because it's different. It's hard compared to what I
I
normally do.
bet. And
But it
you
was
probably
fun. I enjoyed it. What were you were going to make fun of me, Sharples? What did I say that was?
Well, you know what? Quinny had 4 points, and then you were telling one of your stories, and then BMAC cut you off, and Gage scored because you
No.
thought he made something out of nothing. He did a 1-on-3 and
No,
was able to rip one by the goal.
it happened twice where I thought.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna say I was
the Tucson team scored, and I was in the middle of some kind of story, and all of a sudden the puck was in the middle of the slot and they scored, so I just stopped. And then Quinny, that the fourth point was like, where did that come from? I thought I had another 10 seconds before there was a chance.
Yeah, it was pretty, and you
It's a
you
good
watch
learning
it.
curve.
You watch it though. You're talking because that's something that I give Shane Knighty and the guys that do it so well so much credit because they can get their story in, and very rarely do they affect any kind of play, and then they're back out and the play by play going. But like that's I look at it and I go the color analysts, these guys that are the top of the business are just so good because
Yeah, to get
you
in and out.
yeah, and they're able to
Or you
say
can
it.
just go. You can just go Phil Esposito and not care,
Yeah,
No, and Phil, yeah,
which is also great.
and
Yeah.
finish your story.
Yeah.
no, that's it. That's it.
They scored, but that reminds me of the time that I was trying to tell you about when I'm in Montreal and they're trying to use a snowplow, but there's only an inch of snow. And I say, why would you do that?
I
Anyways,
love
good
listening
work,
to Phil's
Stamkos.
broadcasts.
Yeah,
I
it's
love it.
pretty
And
great.
it's the best is when he's not talking and something happens and
Yeah.
oh wow, oh, can you believe that? Oh, come on.
That is my favorite.
Yeah.
That is my favorite because you're like, oh, I am missing a good game.
He'll throw in there too. What is he doing?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is he doing? And I work with Tony's boy Mark, who's Uncle Phil, and it's pretty funny. And Mark played college hockey.
Okay, say that again. You work with Tony Esposito's
Zito's son,
son?
Tony's son.
Yeah.
Okay, Mark, and of course that's Uncle Phil. And he always laughs. He says, "Oh yeah, I tune into the Tampa games all the time just to listen to Uncle Phil."
Yeah.
The whole family's characters, they're great
Everything
people.
you would tell somebody not to do,
Yeah.
Phil does, but he's a Hall of Famer and a legend, so you give him a
Legend.
pass on it.
Yeah.
But it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It is. Which is entertaining, which is part of the game,
Yes.
which is you
Yeah.
can't be too stuffy, right? You just
But
can't.
if it was anybody else, I'd be like, shut up.
Right.
You can't.
Well,
Like, be
Unless they
quiet.
had a really good personality. Then you'd be
it's
like,
good.
yeah, this works.
but the other thing is Tampa's they've won so much over the years. It's just kind of part of their thing. If they were winning and you constantly heard, "What is he doing?" Then
That's funny.
they might be a little different, right? Tampa Bay.
If
And I
it was
will
on the
s-
Buffalo feed. What the hell? Why?
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, we'll give you that one, Lord Bagg. But
Oh, I get one.
well, you've come back. You're closer. You're about
There's only
halfway to
one.
the camera now. Oh, that's Pearl. I wasn't sure what you were doing there. I thought you were lifting up a scarf.
That's so funny. No, it's Pearly.
Hey,
I did
what's
have a
up,
scarf
Pearl?
early. She was all mad. She's like, who you talking to? Tell me.
Yeah, she's like, I can't hear it, but I don't like it. What what hey, so one thing I wanted to ask you guys about too is when you have four lines of superstars in the Back to the Four Nations, and one of your superstars plays 7 minutes and you don't really notice them, but then another, you put them on a line with Connor McDavid in Braden Point and Stones on that line. How good is Braden Point? Like all of a sudden you see a guy that gets his closer to his usual amount of time on the ice, and it's such a big difference. And that's got to be so hard for these coaches because these guys aren't going to play as much as they normally play.
And it's
90%
your coach.
of them.
Like it's your
Oh.
coach
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Coop and Point.
Yeah,
But it also helps Coop knowing, okay, I see him going, or I think that I've watched Braden play for his entire career. That would be a good fit. Like it might work to his advantage and maybe helped him get a spot on that line.
you that's the kind of guy. I think McKinnon will be flying on Thursday, but when watching Point the other night and then today, he's going to be a guy like that is going to make the difference for you. I think if you can push it over the finish line. And for the U.S., maybe I'm trying to think of who might be a guy, maybe a Trocheck kind of guy. Wins you a big draw, you get a off an offensive zone draw or something, you're able to create offense from it. Because I think your superstars, like I think McDavid has shown his flashes, Nate McKinnon's shown his, Eichel's shown his. So,
I'm waiting for Eichel to get more out of what he's done. He's played great, but I'm waiting for him to.
The return hasn't been there, right?
Yeah,
He's gotten a point in every game. He's over
Yeah.
a point a game. But you're right. He's hit some posts. He hit 2 posts tonight against Sweden. But the nice thing is, if you're watching him and you're a U.S. fan and you're like watching, like they talked about McDavid today shooting more. You see Eichel shooting more. That's what you want to see if you're not only a fan of the country that they're playing for, but if you're a fan of the team, right?
Yeah.
That they play for in the league. So yeah, that was kind
I
of
don't know who this
Switzerland
player
of
is, but I'm a fan of the country.
it. All right.
Uh,
Well, Lord
Who wins?
Bagg.
Who wins?
Canada.
Yeah, I think.
You know why I say Canada?
Yeah.
Because this is kind of textbook. Canada loses in the opening rounds and then wins in the finals.
2002, 2010.
It's a lot.
You know what I think the reason they get over the finish line is, first of all, it's tough to beat a really good team twice in a row, but Canada had a winner go home game today. And other than the last 3 minutes of the game, they handled it really well. So I think that right now
Last 3
gives
minutes.
them
they
a
didn't.
little bit of a nose ahead on Thursday night.
Yeah. It'll be good though. It'll be a fun game to watch.
I was so
Adversity.
excited when it was 4-2 or 4-1 because we'd all throw on the score. So I go 4-2 Canada over Finns. About 14 seconds later, it ends up 5-3. I'm like, oh my God.
I was off by 3.
Oh, it's been really quiet for the States so far and could make a difference for them is Kyle Connor.
Yeah. Has
So
been quiet.
if he, if they can get
Started up top and with Eichel and it wasn't going. And
Yep.
yeah, you're right. And he's a shooter.
Yeah.
There's a guy
So
who can score from
there's your
anywhere.
guy. He's not a Braden Point type player, but he is an impact player, right? Like Braden Point, a little bit different how he goes about his business. Kyle Connor gets the puck on a stick 4 times in a game. It's not outside the realm of possibility. Think he can put 3 in. So that's the guy to look out for as well on Thursday.
Would you
No,
make
he's
any
going.
changes? Would you go with the lineup that beat Finland?
Who? Canada?
Canada.
Yeah, you don't.
Like you've
you're not
had some
making a
combinations
change.
in and out, and
You're not changing.
Who did they take out today?
Jarvis.
Jarvis
That's it.
and Sanheim.
And I like Sanheim. I did like him, but he came out. I really liked him. And there's another guy that a lot of people
Elkhorn,
might not
Manitoba.
watch. I really like Sanheim. He really impressed me. And in the U.S., you got to see who's healthy, but I don't think Kreider comes out against Canada.
Wow,
You-
you're gonna have you've got 3 forwards that are gonna go in. Well, Brady and it was already in, but Matthew. I'll be curious to see. I saw the Matthew thing happening before he came out. He was talking to the trainer. A couple of ISO shots in the third period the other night, and he motioned towards his groin. There's something odd here, and then he took himself out. It's not the type of thing that is like bounces right back, but I guess old school, you could wrap it or you could do whatever. He's a gamer, but I'm just wondering how effective he'll actually be.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you dress him if he's not able to get up and down the ice just for if you get, I mean, you can't expect to get more than 1, maybe max 2 power plays in a game like
Yeah.
that.
Well, remember they tried that in the Stanley Cup final in 23? I mean,
Mhm.
he could hardly play, but they put him in there and he had some chances.
Yeah, no, I mean, and you know what? He doesn't have, they're going to just be under hey, boys, when he's not coming back. So we're going to be playing 4-on-5. We're basically killing a penalty on our end until we can get the puck to someone. And then he can join from basically the red line in. It's a little risky, but those 2 boys, the Kachucks, have shown how, emotionally they can help lead that group. So,
Should Canada call him on the opening faceoff? Somebody stand up and go, let's go.
yeah,
because he's hurt.
You know what?
Come on,
Here's the
not
thing.
bad, but-
If Brady can play, he's going to be taking the opening draw. So there's your chance.
Well,
if you
wouldn't Jack take the opening draw?
Brady took it tonight against Sweden. I'm pretty sure he did. So yeah, maybe Jack. But all the marbles are on the table now. So we'll see what happens on Thursday.
All the marbles are on the table.
I would love it if Sam Bennett was off that opening faceoff went, let's go. Or somebody just said, you did it in our building. Let's do it.
Well, Sam Bennett
that'd be
started
great.
today, that line, and they won. So knowing coaches like you do, there's a really good chance Sam Bennett's line starting on Thursday. Hey, someone sent me a text today too.
Was it me?
It wasn't you, because
You've really got to learn how to read numbers and names.
well,
Someone,
our friend,
someone, I don't know who.
yeah, DJ, who fully promoted here in Vegas, sent me a text today, and he goes, "How would Tom Wilson look on that team?" I'm like, "Pretty interesting. He would have looked pretty good, right?" But
Yeah.
I mean, you can only take so many, so that's why you have to have two teams.
Well, it would have been great in the first 5 minutes, but I'm not sure Tom Wilson changes that game. Like, he's good, and I'm a massive Tom Wilson fan. One person that I was impressed with was Jordan Binnington in the American game. They gave him all kinds of traffic and bumps and pushes, and we know Jordan Binnington from the last few years, and the Jordan Binnington of 2022, 2023 would have bought into that, and we would have had a kerfuffle every stoppage.
A
And
kerfuffle.
he was really composed.
He said something though before he went there. They asked about his family and the rest of it going, and he said, "This is a business trip." Like, so you can kind of tell how. And I'm not saying he doesn't get fired up still because he's very competitive. We just
This
saw
is
him
a
here a
business
few
trip.
weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
just
he's
saw
good.
them here a couple weeks ago. So, and you saw him the way he goes at it, but it's pretty interesting. He said
Well,
it's a
Doug
business
Armstrong
trip.
had to sit him down and say, like, are you going to play goal or are you going to be a sideshow? I'm paraphrasing. And he had to dial in and play goal. And he's not into the antics. So I thought it was a good tactic by the Americans to push him and prod him and poke him to see if they can
Check him
interrupt his
out.
game, but he was good.
What do you think, Lord Bagg? What's the key for Thursday night?
You got to shoot a lot of pucks. That's what you got to do. The team that shoots the most pucks is going to end up with one more goal.
I love this chalk talk.
Mhm.
You know what I think Canada does?
I'll tell you what else.
No,
You got to
please
keep
do.
them low. You can never score on the glass.
straight out of 1962.
You got to keep them low because you can't score the glass. No tips. Make sure you warm up the glass, boys, because we're going to be hitting out of it all night. Anyways,
Wire a couple by his ears just to send him a message.
Yeah.
and I'm talking about your goalie and warm-ups.
That happens in men's league. 2 shots at the
Yeah.
same time in men's league.
Hey,
You got a
that's what,
howitzer, but make sure you can't control it.
that's what you tell the kids when they come out. You never have a goalie. Hey, we got a goalie today. Keep the puck down. First shot right off the melon. It's like, you think he's going to come out and play goal for you guys? Like, stop pucks for me. He's not going to take him when you're shooting him off
He's
his
not
head.
going to remember this. We just gave him a concussion.
That was good.
Hey, do you guys remember back in the day when Millard basically alluded to it, but when you got on a tight angle, you ripped it at the goalie's head, like rip it at his head, and then all hell would have broken loose if you hit him. But you rip it around, so then they come down, rip it at your goalie's head. Now those guys are trying to score from those sharp angles off their head,
Off the
or
head.
yeah,
Off the
like
head.
it's amazing how the game's changed. They're like, oh, we're shooting at his head still, but we're trying to bank it off his head
They're
now.
We're
mad.
pretending it's a post.
If they just hit him in the head, they're mad
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it should have gone in.
Yeah. So
If
all
you can
right.
score- if you can score off their head, injury and a goal, love it.
Yeah.
All right. So we're unanimous. Canada wins. I think it's going to be a great setup for Milan next year.
Yeah, I think Canada gets by them at the finish line, 3-1 with an empty net goal.
But who wins for real? Hockey wins. That's who really wins. Yeah,
You're right.
hockey
Hey,
wins.
Millard,
Either
you got any
way.
shout outs? You got any shout outs today?
No.
You're not going to shout out Jen for picking up the youngest, or that guy?
Oh yeah,
Shout that
yeah.
guy
My
out that
wife went
blew
and
your
my
doors
wife
off
went
on
and
the
picked up
bike
the
today.
youngest. My wife went and picked up the youngest so I could continue talking.
Your
And then
wife
the
is a giver.
other guy that blew your doors off on the bike. That
I tried to figure out a way to find out who that is. On Strava, and there's different people, and you can see who's on the same route. I tried to find out who that was, and I couldn't.
Surprised he didn't write his name in a circle. He was so fast.
The
Too fun.
dog can pee on my tire. I'm going so slow.
It's so funny.
Did you ride by yourself? You probably shouldn't do
Yeah.
that.
But I give times like I'll be back by this time, so it's
Smart.
good.
Okay, good.
What about
we
you guys?
need you.
Shout outs?
You know what? Shout out Lord Bagg. You want to shout anything out?
Yeah, I got to shout out all the doctors and the nurses and the PT and the OT at the Terrace Hospital. Thanks for all your help. We tried our hardest.
Yes, 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 we did, and great people up there. And we'll just leave it at shouting out to all those people, and we're gonna shout out the Lord Bagg's family too because they're the best.
Don't
Love
worry
to all.
about those dicks. Left all.